Y'all, look at this happy accident I accidentally ran across. I was gathering up images to use for step 4 in my journaling by 5s with a buddy. I've got Kate's journal here all ready to go. And as I was gathering up my focal images, I noticed that I'm kind of running low. You know, I found a few in my stash, but not many, or not the kind I was wanting. So I resorted to, I went through and cut up some scrapbook paper. That's off of a piece of scrapbook paper. And then this is art from other people. These were from Dee Dee Willingham. I thought they would make nice, you know, focal images. And then, you know, using several small things to make one large focal. You know, I was scraping the bottom of the barrel for focal images here. I guess I need to go buy me some magazines. I was running around the craft room looking for different options. I spotted my box full of paper napkins. Started digging through those and thought, oh yeah, this will work. There's some really nice images on some of these napkins, you know. That would make a lovely focal piece. Okay, I knew that I didn't want to glue it down as is because this white backing causes problems. It can peel off. You know, the glue has to saturate through both layers in order for them to bond and stay down. You know, the backing just causes all kinds of headache. I knew I wanted to peel that off, right? But peeling off the backing makes the napkin somewhat transparent. Not completely, but you can see the background through it. And I know that the backgrounds on her pages, both of our journals, have very bright, busy backgrounds. And with some of the detail on these napkins, I was afraid it was just going to get lost and just look like a big mess. You know, the focal image would sink into the background. So I didn't want that. So I was trying to come up with ideas for being able to use the napkin kind of sort of in its, you know, napkin-y state. In other words, I didn't want to glue it down to a piece of paper. Sometimes I can't tell if there's 2 or 3 layers. See, there's 3 on this one. Yeah, I didn't want to glue it to paper because that would just give it a weird, you know, paper feel. I wanted it to maintain some of its napkininess, but still be a little more opaque. So I found these, this is called tempera paper. I got it at the Japanese dollar store. It's not wax paper, it's not deli paper. It's really unusual. This side is really smooth and slick. It's possible that it's waxed, but it doesn't feel waxed. It feels more like a parchment almost. And then this side has a tooth to it. It's got a texture, and you can even see the texture if the light hits it just right. So it's an unusual paper. So I cut out some napkin images. I glued them to several sheets of tempera paper, like so. I used Yes paste. Don't ask me why. Okay, ask me why. Here's why. I would have used Mod Podge, but my Mod Podge was downstairs and I was upstairs. And as we all know, I avoid climbing those stairs. If at all possible, I avoid them. So the Yes paste was there. That's what I used. Put it on, you know, thin with a card. I didn't even water it down, just as is. And Yes paste dries notoriously slow, so I left it to dry overnight because it was late anyway. And the next morning, I mean, it was bonded really good to this paper. So, you know, that tells me this probably doesn't have a wax coating on it. I don't know what makes it so smooth and slick. But anyhow, this worked. So, I've done several. And they're nice. And this one, I tore it. Just kind of, you know, did that. Tore away the tempera paper. And see, it's bonded nicely there. So I have got this wonderful focal image to use for my step 4 in journaling by 5s. It's, you know, I mean, it's thin, so you can see a little light through it, but you're not going to be able to see the pattern. It won't be distracting. It's going to cover up enough of the background pattern to make it sit on top and be the foreground, and that's exactly what I was wanting. It's much easier to handle than, you know, the napkin with its parts and all of that. So I was really happy with this. So I decided to do some more. I didn't have a whole lot of this tempera paper left, so I grabbed something I had quite a bit of, and that was some deli wrap. And this came on a roll. In fact, Victor sent me this. And I don't know if it's special, you know, Ukrainian deli wrap or Russian deli wrap. I don't know if any deli wrap will work. They're not all the same. I've seen deli wrap that looks a little different. Some of them have a weird kind of striation on them, and some of them are not quite so transparent. So, you know, it may be hit or miss if you want to try this. But I tried it with the deli wrap. I took my peeled napkin, used my Yes Paste, glued it to the deli wrap, left it overnight, and the next morning, this morning, here's what I had. First thing I noticed, the Yes Paste beaded up on the deli wrap, and it can just be peeled off. Okay, not a good sign. That made me think that this was not going to work, that these, you know, were clearly not going to stick to the paper. What am I going to do? So, sure enough, I took one, started doing this, and yes, they peel right off. But look, they become almost like a transfer or a skin. Now, it's got some of the little beads of Yes Paste on there, so take a credit card and just gently, because I have ripped some of these, but it's okay, it's for collage. Scrape away some of the dried, beaded up Yes Paste, and you are left with this amazing, almost transparent skin thing, napkin. I don't even know what to call it. So, yeah, pretty awesome, right? One of those happy accidents. And like I said, I can't tell you if this is going to work with every kind of deli paper or wax paper, or will it work with Mod Podge or just Yes Paste. I don't know. You're just going to have to experiment with what you've got and see what happens. But these are fabulous. You know, much easier to work with than the regular napkin. You get the transparency. It's almost like they've been waxed with Daddy Vans. And I'm thinking that's probably the Yes Paste that made them do that, whatever magic is in that. So I'm probably gonna use some of these in the journal. You know, the background is gonna show through quite a bit, but they do have kind of a sheen on them, which might make them stand up off of the background. I'll just have to see. I'll just have to see very, very quickly, because I've got 15 minutes to experiment, right? So let me show you how I got this. I thought I had this bird, because I wanted to show you the, yeah, there he is. Let me get this out of the way. There. Okay. This is the bird that has been Yes Pasted to deli wrap. Cool. This is just the regular napkin that's peeled. So you can see the difference. This one is much more transparent. It may be hard to tell, but... And once you glue this down, you know, it gets more transparent. It does. You can see through it a lot better. I'm just loving this because it's easy to handle. You know, like, you can do a whole sheet of these at a time, peel them off, and then stick them in your image binder, and then you've got them ready. You know, whereas these, they're a little harder to handle. So that's why I'm liking that a lot. So I was going to do one to show you. This is wax paper. This is deli wrap. And I'll just do that one since he's peeled and ready to go. Okay. You take your Yes paste. I buy mine in the big tall containers, and then after you get about halfway down, you stick your hand down in to get some more. You end up with it all over your hand. Doesn't work for me. So I just transfer it into a shallow container to make it easier to get out. Make sure it seals tight, and this one does. Okay, deli paper. It doesn't matter what side, I don't think. Spread it thin with your card. Lay your napkin down and smooth out any air bubbles. Start from the center, work your way out, smoothing out air bubbles. Then load your card up with more Yes. You can get it off of the paper or back into your thing, and you're going to very carefully go over the top of your napkin. Okay, get it? That's all there is to it. Thin layer on the bottom, thin layer on the top, carefully spread with a card, and then leave this alone until it is completely dry, and it's going to take it a while. I don't know how long mine took. I looked at it like after 30 minutes and there were still some shiny spots on it, and that's when I just turned off the light and went to bed. So do it right before you go to bed so you won't be tempted to mess with it. And then that way it'll be ready the next morning. And that's it. When it's done, when it's completely dry, then you can go peel it off of the sheet and use a clean card to scrape away any remaining dried blobs of yes. And then there you have it. That concludes this weird demonstration. So everybody grab your yes paste and your napkins and your deli wrap and make you a whole bunch of these, and then stick them in, you know, some sheet protectors or something, however you store your images, and then you've got them ready to go for your next round of journaling by fives, and you're using up all those napkins that you're hoarding. And don't tell me you're not hoarding them. I know you are. I know you are, because I am. It's what we do. Okay, that's it. The end.